Good morning, children. Let us continue with the English class. A new arrival. Already previous class I have explained how this Swaminathan was feeling very bad when his mother was lying on the bed. Actually, she was sleeping there for the purpose of the delivery because Swaminathan was getting a brother or sister child, okay, to his mother. So she was tired. She was on the bed. And grandmother was saying that you will get a brother or a sister, like that she was saying. So finally in the night when he went and slept with the granny only. But night he could see saw a lot of sound and everybody moving here and there and all those things, and he saw a lady doctor in the room in the hall, isn't it? And she was also moving. She was just commanding people to get things and all those things. That all he has seen. Later on, let us see what happened. Okay. She came out of the room with a serious face and ordered everybody around. Who came? I'll just read it first and then I'll explain to you. She came out of the room with a serious face and ordered everybody around. She commanded even father to do something. He vanished for a moment and reappeared with a small bottle in his hand. He hovered about uncertainly. The hushed voices, hurry, seriousness, agitation, hot water and medicine, preparations for ushering a new person into the world were too bewildering for Swaminathan's comprehension. Meanwhile, Granny kept asking something from everyone who passed by, and no one troubled to answer her. What was the matter? The 5 carpets in Granny's bed were cozy, her 5 pillows were snug, and Granny's presence nearby was reassuring, and above all, his eyelids were becoming heavy. What more did he want? He fell asleep. The Tamil Pandit, with his unshaven face and the silver-rimmed spectacles set askew on his nose, was guiding the class through the intricacies of Tamil grammar. The guide was more enthusiastic than his followers. A continual buzz filled the air. Boys had formed themselves into small groups and carried on private conversations. The Pandit made faint attempts to silence the class by rapping on the table. After a while, he gave up the attempt and went on with his lecture. His voice was scarcely audible. Shankar and a few others sat on the first bench with cocked up ears and busy pencils. Swaminathan and the P sat on the last bench. So here what is happening? She came out of the room with a serious face and ordered everybody around. Who was that? That is the lady doctor who had come here there to treat his mother, isn't it? To deliver the child. So what she was doing? She came out of the mother's room with serious face because she was also under tension and ordered everybody around. She started ordering people. You bring that, you do this and all those things. Now she started ordering. She commanded even father to do something. She did not even spare his father, Swaminathan's father. She told Swaminathan's father also to do some work. What was that work? We'll see. He vanished for a moment and reappeared with a small bottle in his hand. So what happened? When doctor said something to bring for his father, immediately father just disappeared. Means he went away to do that work what lady doctor had told. So he vanished, means he disappeared for a moment and reappeared with a small bottle in his hand. She would have told to get some oil or something like that. So he has come with a bottle in his hand. He hovered about uncertainly. He was also feeling, what is this? Is my wife under trouble, like that? He was also just going on thinking. The hushed voices, hurry, seriousness, agitation, hot water and medicine. So what happens? He could see that people are just going on talking so many things. They are in a hurry. They are just moving fast. Then seriousness, some people are showing the seriousness in the face. Agitation, they are feeling very bad. All these things, hot water. There are somebody is getting hot water and somebody is bringing medicine. All these things were happening. Preparations for ushering a new person into the world. Ushering means what? Here you see, showing in. They want to just welcome the new person who is into the family. New person means after the mother deliver the child is a new person to the family. So the hushed voices, hurry, seriousness, agitation, hot water and medicine. Preparations for ushering a new person into the world were too bewildering for Swaminathan's comprehension. Bewildering means confusing. The Swaminathan was totally confused. What is this? Why these people are acting like this? He doesn't know anything, So he is small. He's a very small boy. So he was just thinking. He was wondering why these people are doing all this lot of things. Okay, he is under confusion. Bewildering means confusion. Comprehension. What is comprehension? To understand. He is not able to understand why these people are acting like this. Okay. So Swaminathan's comprehension. Meanwhile, Granny kept asking something from everyone who passed by and no one troubled to answer her. Meanwhile, my grandmother is also very much under tension. She started asking people what happened, how is she and all that. How is the daughter-in-law and all those things she is asking. But none of them are bothered to answer to Granny's question. What was the matter? The 5 carpets in Granny's bed were cozy, her 5 pillows were snug, and Granny's presence nearby was reassuring, and above all, his eyelids were becoming heavy. So they were just taking that bed and they were just moving around, all those things. Now he was seeing that carpets in Granny's bed were cozy, that means it was soft. So they were taking that, they were just keeping things, and then her 5 pillows also they were carrying, all these things. Now he was just observing all this. But at the same time, what happened? He was feeling sleepy. So he was, finally what happened? With all this confusion in his mind, he was fast asleep. So he fell asleep. That means he slept. These things were going on. He observed but he was not able to understand. Finally what happened? He slept. So that is over. That house story is over. Now we will see his school. Here what happened in his class. So the Tamil Pandit, he was in Tamil Nadu. So the Tamil Pandit, it is unshaven face and the silver rimmed spectacles, set askew on his nose, was guiding the class through the intricacies of Tamil drama. So what happened? The Tamil lecturer, that means the master who was teaching Tamil language, he came there, and how was he? We call him as Tamil Pandit. That master or the teacher was called as Tamil Pandit. How was his face? Unshaven. He has not shaved his beard. Okay, unshaven face, and the silver rimmed spectacles. The spectacles had a frame made up of silver color. Okay, silver rimmed spectacles, set askew on his nose. So askew means awry or amiss or improper. That spectacles what he was wearing was not in a correct position. So it was in an improper way. Okay. So set askew on his nose, was guiding the class through the intricacies of Tamil grammar. So what was he teaching? He was teaching them about grammar in Tamil. The guide was more enthusiastic than his followers. So the master was very much, the Pandit was very much enthusiastic to to teach the children. He was so curious and so enthusiastic. He wanted to teach the children than the children. Okay, children were not that much interested. But sir was very much interested to teach the Tamil grammar. A continual buzz filled the air. There was a sound because children were not interested. They are going on talking. They were making their sound. So that is called here a continual buzz. Buzz means there was a sound because when everybody talks, what will happen in the class, you know it, isn't it? So a continual buzz filled the air. Boys had formed themselves into small groups and carried on private conversation. So what were they doing? They were not listening to the teacher. They were not listening to Pandit's class. What were they doing? They only made some small groups and they started talking to each other, unwanted things. So what happened? These children, the guy, that means, okay. So what happened? The boys all made some groups and they were all talking to each other. The Pandit made faint attempts to silence the class by rapping on the table. So when he could hear the sound and teacher was observing the children are not following him, so what he did, he tried so much to make the class silent, but they were not bothered. Then what he did, he just took a stick and went on hitting the desk, so that it will make a sound, for that reason, because they will become alert. That's what the sir thought. The Pandit made faint attempts, means he was not able to control the class. Made faint attempts to silence the class by rapping on the table. He started hitting the table. After a while, he gave up the attempt and went on with his lecture. Then afterwards, he never bothered. Let these children be talking, let me do my class. So he started doing his class. And he continued his lecture. His voice was scarcely audible. His voice was also not audible. It was not reaching to the children. They were not able to listen to him. They were not able to get his words. Shankar and a few others sat on the first bench with cocked up ears and busy pencils. So there were two, Shankar and some other students were in the first bench. They could hear little about what sir was teaching. But others, those who were at the back, they were not able to hear him. So here see, Shankar and a few others sat on the first bench with cocked up ears and busy pencils. They are just listening, but they were doing something with their pencils. Swaminathan and the P is also his friend. P is friend of Swaminathan. Swaminathan and the P sat on the last bench. Where are these P children? These children were sitting on the last bench. Next. I say P, said Swaminathan. I got a new brother this morning. So he is he's sharing his thoughts to whom? To his friend P. What is he saying? See P, I have got a brother in this morning. That means my mother has delivered a baby boy. So I have got a brother. The P was interested. How do you like him? So P was very much happy because somebody has come to his family, no? So P was very much curious to know. What is he asking? How do you like him? Do you like the child? He is asking Swaminathan. Oh, like him. He's hardly anything. So he is saying, yes, I like him. But he is not like anybody. That means he is hardly anything. That means he is small child. He cannot do anything, no? Now when they grow up only they can talk to each other, they can play and all those things. But now the small child cannot do anything. Such a funny looking creature. He is saying such a funny looking creature means here he is saying about his brother. Such a funny looking creature. They are small child, isn't it? So the child looks little different. Such a funny looking creature, said Swaminathan, and gave what he thought was an imitation of his little brother. And he started imitating how the child was. Okay, he started imitating, showing the same way how the child is to P. He shut his eyes, compressed his lips, folded his hands on his chest, protruded his tongue and tilted his head from side to side. So he is showing just like how the child behaves, the same way. What is it? He shut his eyes. As soon as the children comes out, the child comes out, it will not open the eyes immediately. After some time it will open. So he is showing all that. The child had closed his eyes, then compressed his lips. The lips were also compressed, means does not open. Compressed his lips, folded his hands on his chest. So the child had folded the hand on its chest, protruded his tongue. The tongue was put out like this. Okay. So protruded. You can see thrust for this. The child had put the tongue out, protruded his tongue, and tilted his head from side to side. And the child was putting the head like this and this. That is called as tilting. Okay, tilted the head from side to side. P laughed uncontrollably because Swaminathan was imitating. He was showing all the action of the child, isn't it? So P was not able to control his laugh. He started laughing. Uncontrollably means he started laughing without any control. But Swaminathan said, this thing has a wonderful pair of hands, so small and plump. He is asking, but the child is having what? a pair of hands, but it's so nice to see. A pair of hands are beautiful to see. Wonderful pair of hands. So small and plump, very small hand, but so plumpy. Means nice it is to see. You know, he's asking, do you know? Have you seen? Like, but I tell you, his face is awful red, red like a chili, and his face is so nice. It is red color, and it is like looking like a chili red. You know, no? So red chilies, you know, like that. The face is red. They listened to the teacher's lecture for a few minutes. I say, Swami, said the P, these things grow up soon. So what happened? They were listening to the master. At the same time, what they are doing? They are discussing also. So finally, what is P saying? P is saying that these things grow up soon. So whatever is you said, no, the description of the child, all these things, all the organs will start growing very soon. I have seen a baby that was just what your brother is for. He is also saying, P is also saying, even I have seen a child just like your brother. How you are explaining now, how you are describing now, the same way I have seen a child. P is saying. But you know, when I saw it again during Michael Mass, I could hardly recognize it. But after a few days when I saw that child, you know, the child had grown up and I was not able to recognize the child. So, like this, there will be changes. When the child starts growing, there will be changes in the child's growth. That is what P is saying. So, both of them had a very good conversation. They were not listening to the class actually, but all this description went on and they both were happy. Both were friends. P and Swaminathan were friends. So, I already told you this is written by the author R.K. Narayan. Okay, let me stop it here. Once again, I tell you about the meanings here. So, it is ushering means showing in, bewildering means confusing, comprehension means to understand, askew means awry, amiss or improper, scarcely means hardly, audible, clearly heard. Audible means clearly heard. Imitation means to copy, compressed, squeezed together or reduce. Like this, how the lips, he was compressing the lips, no? Like this, he's just making it like that. Okay. Then, compressed means squeezed together or reduce. Protruded means putting the tongue out. So, it is just put out. Okay, thrust forth it is. Okay. So, I'll just read it for you once again. Yeah, once again I'll read. She came out of the room with a serious face and ordered everybody around. She commanded even father to do something. He vanished for a moment and reappeared with a small bottle in his hand. He hovered about uncertainly. The hushed voices, hurry, seriousness, agitation, hot water, and medicine preparations for ushering a new person into the world were too bewildering for Swaminathan's comprehension. Meanwhile, Granny kept asking something from everyone who passed by, and no one troubled to answer her. What was the matter? The 5 carpets in Granny's bed were cozy, her 5 pillows were snug, and Granny's presence nearby was reassuring, and above all, his eyelids were becoming heavy. What more did he want? He fell asleep. The Tamil Pandit, with his unshaven face and the silver-rimmed spectacles, set askew on his nose, was guiding the class through the intricacies of Tamil grammar. The guide was more enthusiastic than his followers. A continual buzz filled the air. Boys had formed themselves into small groups and carried on private conversations. The Pandit made faint attempts to silence the class by rapping on the table. After a while, he gave up the attempt and went on with his lecture. His voice was scarcely audible. Shankar and a few others sat on the first bench with cocked up ears and busy pencils. Swaminathan and the P sat on the last bench. I say P, said Swaminathan. I got a new brother this morning. The P was interested. How do you like him? Oh, like him? He is hardly anything. Such a funny looking creature, said Swaminathan and gave what he thought was an imitation of his little brother. He shut his eyes, compressed his lips, folded his hands on his chest, protruded his tongue, and tilted his head from side to side. He laughed uncontrollably. But Swaminathan said, "This thing has a wonderful pair of hands, so small and plump, you know. But I tell you, his face is awful, red like a chili." They listened to the teacher's lecture for a few minutes. "I say, Swami," said the P, "these things grow up soon. I have seen a baby that was just what your brother is. But, you know, when I saw it again during my columns, I could hardly recognize it." So, written by R.K. Narayan. Let me stop it here, children. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.